Hey guys, I hope that you are finding everything to be relatively simple to get along with on Canvas, and that we're, finding everything okay. If not, feel free to ask questions because I'm here through email. If you need me, make sure that you click that contact button on Canvas. So the way that this is going to work is this is going to be through an Edpuzzle video, as you all have already found. And then before, just to hold you all accountable, before the question is went over, you all are actually going to put in your answers. So if you all have not done this already, you probably should take this time, pause this video, and go on and do this test, because this is going to be your grade, okay? You're going to get the grade from how you answer these questions on this Edpuzzle video. So I would suggest going ahead and going over that. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and go through this test. So with number 1, we have 2 times the square root of negative 16. And we know that the square root of negative 16 is an imaginary number, right? And we know that that imaginary number is actually 4i. Okay, and we know that this is being multiplied by 2. And then we still have plus the square root of 225. And the square root of 225 is actually 15. Okay, so then we have 2 times 4i, and we know that 2 times 4i is 8i. And then plus 15. And it says that it wants this in standard form, and standard form is a plus bi, so we actually have to rearrange this and put the 15 in front, so this would be 15 plus 8i, which is answer choice C. Okay, then on to number 2. We actually haven't gotten to number 2. Okay, so number 2 is talking about survey methods. So this is on to like statistics and stuff like that, but you can actually read through this and use your process of elimination and figure it out. So it says that they placed a box in the cafeteria where they could vote through 3 specialty lunch days, and then you can read through the specialties. And then it said that more than twice as many students voted for mac and cheese than Taco Tuesday. And then when Chelsea went and asked her table, all but one student voted for Taco Tuesday. And then it wants to know why there was a difference when she went and asked her table than whenever the students voted at the survey. And so answer choice A says that they were biased. So a difference between the results is understandable. So first we're going to talk about what does the word biased mean. So if you look at all of the other answer choices, they have the word unbiased. So unbiased actually means neutral. So that means that there's not, like, you don't have one side or the other. You're just completely neutral, okay? The results aren't going to be for one side or the other. So whenever we look at answer choice B, it says the student council and Chelsea collected data in an unbiased sample. Random variation between the 2 samples accounts for different results. So because this one is unbiased, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And then C says kind of the same thing. It says the student council's method was biased because the students could vote multiple times. And then Chelsea's method was unbiased and represented the school's population better. First of all, Chelsea's method only didn't represent the school's population because she only asked like 5 of her friends. Okay, so that didn't represent the school's population because she only represented a couple people. And then answer choice D said that Chelsea influenced the students at her table by choosing the option she had preferred. Well, answer choice D isn't true because Chelsea didn't even tell the people at her table what she had offered. So that one isn't true as well. So she didn't even tell them what she wanted. So the reason that unbiased is important is because most of you, whenever you're voting for something, would ask your friends what you're voting for. So that's the reason why unbiased is important. So answer choice A is our answer here because both surveys were biased. So they have to be, we want it to be, both surveys are going to have sway in one way or another. So that's why they are going to be biased. All right, and then we have number 3. All right, so then we're going to look at number 3. And number 3 wants you to classify each individual one. So when we look at the first one, we have x to the 3, and our options are exponential, polynomial, and rational. Okay, and we actually just got through talking about exponential, so we should kind of know what exponential looks like. Okay, if we have x cubed, we know that that one is a polynomial. Okay, so anything to a power of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 is going to be a polynomial, and so on and so forth. Okay, anything with a power is a polynomial. Okay, anything with a power of x, such as the next one, is going to be exponential. Okay, and then we've got something with a polynomial on top and a polynomial on bottom. And we actually haven't talked about this. This is going to be one of our next chapters, but this is, rational. Okay, and if we look up a rational function, I actually have the definition pulled up here, and it says a rational function is defined as a algebraic function with a numerator, or blah, blah, blah. Well, oh no. Oh no, I messed all the way up. So the definition of a rational function is where it has a polynomial on top and on bottom. So this is rational. Okay? So for the next one, we have something that looks like this. And we should know this by now. We've talked about this a lot. This is a cubic function. So it's going to have a little bit different, but it's going to have something x cubed. It's going to have more to it, but that's the base of it, right? So we kind of already talked about this. This one looks similar to that. So, hey, that's a polynomial. Okay, then the next one is, again, something, we've kind of seen this. We started talking about this right before we left. Okay, it has the thing called asymptotes, right? But again, something we've not really seen a whole lot before. So that one is going to be rational. Okay, and then last but not least, again, we've seen this one before. It goes up, increases really quickly, really fast. So that one is going to be exponential as well. Okay, then we've got number 4. So we did just talk about number 4. That was in the videos just before we left. Okay, again, I put an announcement on Canvas that if you did not watch those videos and do those IXLs, guys, those are 6 assignments. So you do need to do those. If you have not done those, make sure that those are done, because that's a lot of grades that you will be missing if you do not do those. So if it is 5x equals 20, then 5 is our base. Remember, the base is always going to be the base. So the 5 stays right there. Okay, and then x is actually going to be the number that it equals. So the exponent is going to be what it equals. And then 20 is going to be the other number. Okay, so remember, your base stays your base. And then your exponent is going to be what it equals. Okay. All right, so then number 5, we start our factoring, and it wants to know what polynomial on the left corresponds to the polynomial on the right. So first we have x squared plus 25. So we'll just number this. So how can we factor x squared plus 25? Now, if we look at our answer choices, our first option, or our first instinct is to say, hey, right there. But we can only do that when we have a difference. That would be difference of squares, and this is not a difference, so we cannot do that. So the option here, if we look through the rest of our answer choices, would be the one with eyes. So we actually can do it with eyes. We can have imaginary numbers whenever we factor, and we actually haven't talked about that, but we can do that. Okay, so this is going to be number 1. Okay, then we have number 2. And when we factor number 2, if the first thing you'll notice is that there is a greatest common factor. And that greatest common factor is 4. Then we can also do difference of squares. So x minus 2 and x plus 2. So don't forget to not stop here, because you can also do difference of squares here. So this wouldn't be your answer. You would actually put this one as your answer. Okay, on number 3, I have 3 terms, so I can't do greatest common factor. Well, you could do greatest common factor, but there isn't a greatest common factor. So you would have to either draw your x or do slide and divide. And since there is a term out in front, I have to do slide and divide. So 6x squared so I have to take the 6, multiply it out front. Okay, now I draw my x, and I have to think of something that multiplies to negative 30 and adds to 7. So those numbers are 10 and negative 3. So then I'd say x plus 10 and x minus 3. Then, since I multiplied at the very beginning, I have to remember to divide by that now. Okay, now before I do anything, I have to simplify these fractions. So 10/6 reduces to 5/3, and 3/6 reduces to 1/2. Now I take the number on bottom and bring it in front of the x, so this would be 3x plus 5, and then this would be 2x minus 1. So this answer would be this one. Okay, and then last but not least, I have number 4. And number 4 is actually the difference of cubes formula. So if we remember our difference of cubes formula, it's going to be a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. So I'm going to rewrite this as x cubed minus 3 cubed, because 27 is 3 cubed. So then I would do x minus 3, and then x squared plus, I'd have to do a times b, which would be x times 3, so that would be 3x, plus b squared, which is 3, so 3 squared is 9. So then this would be my answer. However, when I look at my answer choices, I don't see this as an answer. Okay, so number 4 doesn't have a correct answer on here, and I am 100% sure that none of these answers are the correct answer. So when I look, the only answer that would line up with any of this is this one or this one. okay? And I know that it's not x minus 3 cubed. I know that that answer doesn't even make sense, so it has to be this one that I would choose logically as an answer.